Indiani Aiju Khokho Hanjaku Borai Nagai Kalawadung.
And now I invite in the men section. Team
India in match 1 number, code number 1. India and Bhutan. This match will play code number 1.
Gabung semi-final Gilea Fungni Jise Ringgani Fai Jagan Raja Raja Nangtangmanko Jise Ringgaunu Fin Takai Guri Khole Hodeng Oha Kali Khel Onistito Kora Habo Ratipua 11 Bajat.
নমস্কাৰ কাইলৈ দিনৰ 11 বজাৰ লগে লগে সেমিফাইনেল আৰু তাৰ পিছতে ফাইনেল অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব আৰু তাৰ পাছতে সামৰণি অনুষ্ঠান অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব গতিকে সমূহ ৰাইজৰ উপস্থিতি আমি কামনা কৰিছো
Semi-final Gilea Gabon Fungni Jise Ringgau Jagan.
Now I invite the team in the men section. First team, I invite team Bangladesh. Ali Hussain, Warin Kom Bhavan, F.K. Abdul Rahman, Muhammad Adil Permanik, Sunil Tripura, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Gulam Rasul, Muhammad Safiq Al Hussain, Sohel Rana, Muhammad Hasibul Islam, Mong Chingai, Marma, Muhammad Abdul Hakim Mia coach, Muhammad Sohan Milon assistant coach, Muhammad Sadul Haq team coach, team Bangladesh. Man team Sri Lanka. Saman Kumar Singha, Sanjay Lakmal, Sridharan Lech Chavan, Chaturanga Sanja, Malaka Jeta, Sarat Jason manager, Atula Vijnaya coach, and Ranjit Punwardhane team manager, team Sri Lanka.
Now we will have interaction of player with our dignitaries, and may I invite Honorable First Lady of BTL, Srimati Parul Borali. And
They will be escorted by Al Hussein, Vice President of Khokho Association, and member of Khokho Federation of India. Khokho number 1 match will be played between India and Bhutan.
বাংলাদেশ
আমার সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ তোমার বাতাস আমার প্রাণে আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি তোমা ভাবনে তো নামের মনে প্রাণে পাগল করে আমের বলে গানে পাগল বাড়ি ওমা প্রাণী তোর ভরা থেকে কি দেখেছি আমি কি দেখেছি মধুর হাসি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি শোভা কি ছায়া গো কি স্নেহ কি মায়া গো কি আঁচল বিছায়েছ পথের মূলে নদীর কূলে কূলে মাতর মুখের বাণী আমার কানে লাগে সুধার মতো বাণী আমার কানে লাগে সুধার মতো বাতর বদর খানি মহিম হলে আমি নয়ন ওমা আমি নয়ন জলে ভাসি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি
Now, national anthem, Sri Lanka.
Thank you.
And now it's time, national anthem, Bhutan. And now it's time, national anthem, India.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you. गाबोन सेमिफाइनाल गेलेनाया फुंनि 11 रिंगानिफ्राय जागायगोन खख' गेलेनायखौ नायनो मोजां मोनग्रा रायजो राजा नोंथांमोन साफ्रोमखौबो गाबोन फुंनि 11 रिंगायाव फैनो थाखाय गुरै खावलायहरदों गाबोन सेमिफाइनाल गेलेनाया फुंनि 11 रिंगानिफ्रायनो जागोन ओंखायनो रायजो राजा नोंथांमोन गाबोन साफ्रोमखौबो फुंनि 11 रिंगायाव फैनो थाखाय गुरै खावलायहरदों
नहीं ऐसे कंप्लीट नहीं होगा
Okay, let's go. Let's. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all, both teams. Best of luck.
Thank you so much to Honorable First Lady of BTR, Srimati Parul Bharali Boro, and Mr. Jeso, Chairman, Subcommittee, Khokho Federation of India.
केवल सीधा स्टार्ट करना कमांड मत देना बोलेंगे 5 4 3 ऐसे काउंट डाउन करना ये नहीं बोलना रैप में सीधा स्टार्ट पहले करने हां बोलो
Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request our esteemed guests to come to court number 2 for the match Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. Our esteemed guest will be escorted by LL Verma Sir, KKFI, Bhupender Singh sir,
Vasubori.
KKFI,
Vasubori.
Sunil Kumar
Gentlemen.
sir, KKFI, and our esteemed guests are Upkar Singh sir, Joint Secretary, KKFI, Sanjay Yadav sir, Joint Secretary, KKFI. I repeat, our guests for court number 2 will be escorted by LL Verma sir, KKFI, Bhupender Singh sir, KKFI, Sunil Kumar sir, KKFI, and our esteemed guests are Upkar Singh sir, Joint Secretary, KKFI, Sanjay Yadav sir, Joint Secretary, KKFI. Ladies and gentlemen, for the match of Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka in the court 2, we have our esteemed guest, and our guest will be escorted by L.R. Verma sir, KKFR, Bhupender Singh sir, KKFI, Sunil Kumar sir, KKFI, and our esteemed guests on the court number 2 are Upkar Singh sir, Joint Secretary, KKFI, Sanjay Yadav, Joint Secretary, KKFI. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our esteemed guest in the court interacting all the players from the different country. I request ladies and gentlemen to give a big round of applause to the players of Bangladesh and Sri Lanka.
Vasu, no problem. Last match is there now. Why? Who told? This is last match, na? So why? Why are you waiting? Start the match.
Court number 1, just
Malik
hold.
sir.
Just wait, just wait.
Just wait.
This is an information to the official anchors of the 4th Asian Khokho Championship, Ranima Borthakur and Birfung Basumatari is requested to come to court number 2.
Say "Kho" loudly and just. Let's. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I thanks all the dignitaries, those who come on the court number 2, and bless all the both teams players. Thank you, all the dignitaries.
Yes, please. Toss on by Sri Lanka, elected to defense.
हम तो नहीं सकते ना वो नहीं तो बाहर हो जाएगी जाना चेंज कहाँ होता है 11 तो इंजरी हो गई 5 पॉइंट
Bangladesh and India. In both sections, the match will be played. So please note all the concerned manager coaches, please. Order. First thing I will be known for the qualified for the semi-final matches. Nepal, Bangladesh, India, and Sri Lanka. Your match will be started at Develop Cups in Bollywood and 10:30 you should start the ball. And 11 o'clock we start your first both the girls semi-final. Then we start the main semi-final.
Championship in semi-final semi-final adalah untuk diselesaikan bersama. Beliau closing ceremony akan dilakukan dengan rencana satu sisi yang dilakukan.
chance to win.
Relive Asia Khokho Championship semi-final
No.
You didn't.
Is gathering outside. It's been a very tough time. This was a day when the cabinet secretary had just stepped down. I think the civil servants needed to feel that, as I said, in respect of another event, that the business of government was being carried on, and they needed to feel thanked and motivated for their work, and that's what I did.
So you were aware of the gathering before it took place?
Briefly, yes, but I think it was one of those things where, as I think Sue Gray may point out in her report, I don't know what value we now attach to it, but when you're Prime Minister, you move around, quite rightly, your officials give you the next thing to do, and you go and do it, and this was the next thing to do. I then went and had a telephone audience with Her Majesty.
We've evidence that some officials and advisors felt the event shouldn't go ahead. On page 34 of your bundle, your then Director of Communications, Lee Kane, describes the tone of the email invitation as clearly social and in breach of COVID guidance, and says he raised concern about it with Martin Reynolds. Another official gave us evidence saying, and I quote, "I heard there were so many people who were unhappy about the party that they were not going to go, and they themselves said to another official that they thought it was madness." That evidence is on page 38 of your bundle. Were any concerns about the gathering's compliance with COVID rules or guidance raised directly with you at the time?
No, and the individual that you mentioned who raised concerns, Lee, was, if you read what he says, he was concerned about the optics, not about the rules, and he himself attended the event, and certainly no concerns were raised with me.
If the event had been within the rules, why was he concerned about the optics?
I think I can't say. I think he was concerned about the impression that people might gain if they looked over the garden wall, if they were coming from the media room, and thought that we were doing something that other people weren't allowed to do. And in my opening remarks, I made clear that I can see why people might have felt that way. But as I told the House when I came to report on that event, I still believe it was within the guidance and within the rules.
So did Lee Kane discuss or raise concerns about the gathering with you at the time? And
No.
his evidence suggests he might have done. He said, I quote, "I don't recall if I personally had a conversation with the PM about the garden party, but it would have been highly unusual for me not to have raised a potentially serious communications risk with the PM directly."
And if he had thought, and if Dominic Cummings had thought that this thing really was against the rules and should not go ahead, they would have told Martin Reynolds, and it is inconceivable that it would have gone ahead.
Did Martin Reynolds discuss or raise any concerns about the gathering with you at the time? As again, his evidence suggests to us he may well have done. He said it's possible he raised concerns with you.
No, not that I can remember, no.
Were you otherwise aware of any concerns from what you've heard or read either before or after the gathering took place?
No. As I told the House of Commons about, and I gave quite a long series of remarks about this event. When I walked out into the garden, it seemed to me it was implicit in what we were doing that this was a work event.
As you'll see from pages 34, 40 and 41 of your bundle, we have evidence that trestle tables were set up on which alcohol was laid out, and that the attendees included your wife, as well as advisors who were not from number 10, but from other government departments. Did you see that when you were at the gathering?
I had no hand in organising this. When you talk about trestle tables and so on, it was. And there's no prohibition.
Mr. Johnson,
Sorry.
Permit me, if you would, is that she was not asking whether you organised the trestle tables with the alcohol on it. She was asking whether you saw the trestle tables with the alcohol
I did see.
on it.
I don't remember what exactly was on the trestle tables. I remember going around and thanking staff for what they were doing during COVID. Now, it is perfectly possible that my wife was in the garden as well, but she was entitled to be there. And she certainly didn't receive a fixed penalty notice for that event, and nor did I.
You'll also see from page 34 of your bundle that Lee Kane said he briefly attended the gathering, and that in his view it's clear from observing it that it was a purely social function. Did you share that view?
No, and that's certainly not what he said at the time, because if he thought that it was purely social and therefore against the rules, it is inconceivable that it would have gone ahead.
The Metropolitan Police have confirmed that fixed penalty notices were issued in relation to that gathering, so we know it breached the COVID regulations. We know that you knew what the regulations were, and we know you were in attendance. So it would have been obvious to you when you were there that the gathering was not essential for work purposes and was partially a social event, wouldn't it?
No, and if I'm with great respect, Mr. Verwaag, I want to dispute the idea that it was not an essential gathering, or not a gathering that was reasonably necessary for work purposes. I don't know why the FPNs were issued, but it may be that they were issued to people who had not a good enough reason to come in from home to that gathering, or people who had come from elsewhere to that gathering. But My firm impression, I think it's certainly still the case that Martin Reynolds believes that gathering was within the rules and indeed within the guidance.
Would you have advised anyone else in the country if they'd asked you at one of the press conferences at that time to have a large social gathering in the garden?
It was not a large social gathering. It was a gathering intended, and I really must insist on this point. People who say that we were partying in lockdown simply do not know what they are talking about. People who say that that event was a purely social gathering are quite wrong. My purpose there was to thank staff, to motivate them in what had been a very difficult time and what was also a very difficult day in which the Cabinet Secretary had just resigned.
Did you think, Mr Johnson, that exceptions applied in number 10 to workplace rules and social distancing guidelines that didn't apply to the hospitals and the care homes, workplaces that were also operating under incredibly difficult and challenging circumstances?
Of course not. And that's why we continued, that's why we had all the stipulations that I've discussed at great length with Sir Bernard about following the guidance.
Thank you, Mr Johnson. I'll now hand back to the Chair.
Thank you. To complete this section of our questions, we'll look at two gatherings that took place at the end of 2020 and the start of 2021. The first we'll look at took place on the 14th of January 2021. That was a leaving gathering for two officials held in the pillared room of number 10. The next one we'll look at was a Christmas gathering in the vestibule on the 18th of December 2020. At the time of both gatherings, the legal rules in force to prevent the spread of COVID included restrictions on gatherings of 2 or more people, and workplace guidance stated that there should be social distancing of 2 meters in the workplace wherever possible, and that only absolutely necessary participants should physically attend meetings. I'll invite Alan Dorrans to ask you about these gatherings. Mr Dorrans.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr Johnson. Mr Johnson, before I ask my questions, can we again confirm your knowledge of the rules and guidance in place at that time by reminding ourselves of what you were telling the country? You told the House of Commons on the 2nd of September that it was very important that we get people back into the workplace in a COVID secure way. This shows you're aware of the workplace guidance and its contents. Then on the 9th of November, you said at a COVID press conference that neither mass testing nor progress on vaccines are at the present time a substitute for the national restrictions, for social distancing and all the rest, so it is all the more important that we follow the rules. In addition, at a press conference on the 30th of December, you outlined a Tier 4 restriction which were enforced in London. A fortnight later, when the 14th of January gathering took place, you said the restriction meant not meeting up with friends or family indoors unless they are in the same household or support bubble, and avoiding large gatherings of any kind. My first question to you, is that your understanding of the rules?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. My first question will concentrate on the gathering of the 14th of January 2021. This was a leaving event for 2 officials held in the pillared room at number 10. We have evidence that approximately 15 people attended. We will now show you a picture of this gathering on the screen. The unpixelated photo is in page 757 of bundle 2 of the total evidence. Here we see the picture on the screen, Ms Johnson. The photograph shows yourself and at least other people, 11 other people in attendance in the unpixelated picture. The Metropolitan Police have confirmed fixed penalty notices were issued to some individuals who attended this gathering, as it breached the COVID regulations in place at the time and was not reasonably necessary for work. This breach of the COVID rules would have been obvious to you when you were there, wouldn't it?
No, I must respectfully disagree with you very strongly, Mr Dorrans. On the contrary, what I see there is, and I know that there's some bottles on the table, but you have there you're looking actually. I think that's a Zoom. That's somebody a screenshot taken from from Zoom, I would guess, because you've got people at this event, a large number of the people were actually on Zoom. You've got people who work with each other every day, who use that room for meetings, and who are meeting briefly to say thank you and farewell to, I think, two talented young officials. I think Malcolm Reed and Alex Burns was the occasion, and it was the. Sorry, forgive me. I shouldn't mention the names of the officials. I've said they're talented, but anyway.